And a good evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Eric Grandstrom in for Grant Olson. Before we get to what's making news, let's take a quick look outside our weather window. And yes, the heat wave in north central Washington is really kicking in with temperatures in the region in the upper 90s and near triple digits today. The National Weather Service has issued an excessive heat warning from now through the 1st of July into next week. Record-breaking temperatures are expected Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. Dan Kuntz will have more on your forecast coming up a little bit later on. Now, here are a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. Quick response helped put out a fire in Grant County this week. Authorities are asking for your help to find a missing man in Dryden. And the Department of Transportation is removing danger trees along Stevens Pass. But first, our top story tonight. The community will gather next Wednesday in Ephrata to honor the memory of Alex Harvill, who died last week at the Moses Lake Air Show as he was warming up to attempt a world record motorcycle jump. The public services will begin at 11 in the morning at Ephrata High School on their football field. A GoFundMe account to assist Harvill's wife and two young sons had raised just under $100,000 as of this morning. Harvill was 28 years old. Well, thanks to a quick response, firefighters in Grant County were able to limit a brush fire to half an acre in May Valley outside of Moses Lake on Wednesday. One of several small fires in the region this week. Grant County Fire District 5 Captain Travis Svlar used one of the district's fire engines to get a jump on the blaze before it could spread into the dry grass and sagebrush. Just this week, firefighters in Chelan County responded to fires in the Upper Chumstick and Antillon Lake that were kept to less than a half an acre. The same was true for a fire in the Frenchman Coulee area of Grant County. So fire season is definitely upon us, and hot weather, let's be careful about there with any open flame. Chelan County Sheriff's Office is asking for any information people may have on a Dryden man who's been missing since New Year's Day. Sheriff's Office says 36-year-old Eric B. Isolde told his roommate in Dryden he was moving to Gold Bar in a couple weeks and would be back for his belongings. He has not returned since and has not responded to phone calls, texts, or social media messages. The Sheriff's Office said he had recently purchased a motorhome to live in, but never returned to take possession of the RV. Isolde is described as 5'11", 160 pounds with green eyes and brown hair. Anyone with information on Isolde is asked to call 667-6845 and leave a message with their name, phone number, and email address. Well, all this week, contractors for the Washington State Department of Transportation have been removing dead and dying trees along Highway 2 on Stevens Pass. Next week, they'll be doing the same on Blewett Pass. WashDOT produced a video showing the sights and sounds of several of the big trees being removed on Stevens Pass. Feels like somebody should be yelling timber there. Well, coming up next, the governor is saying he will allow the state to open up next week, despite numbers not being where he'd like. $92 million has been granted to our area on a bridge project, and demolition is underway to build more office space for the city of East Wenatchee. I'm Eric Grandstrom. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Mary Maids of Wenatchee has been professionally cleaning and sanitizing homes and businesses in North Central Washington since 1998. Mary Maids uses commercial-grade cleaners and viricides. Mary Maids has implemented additional safety and sanitation protocols. They are strictly following CDC guidelines for the safety of their clients and employees. For expert help with cleaning and sanitizing your home or business, call or look up Mary Maids of Wenatchee to schedule your free estimate today.
Raising a family may have seemed overwhelming to your parents, but they weren't. Coach, teacher, life guide, caregiver. Family takes care of family. And as the circle of life continues, you now are their caregiver. It may seem overwhelming, but we're here to help you find the support services necessary so you can provide quality care to your elders.
Call Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington at 1-800-572-4459.
I'm John Divis from Wenatchee Dental Arts, and I like to think myself as a comprehensive dentist. We are an office that treats people comprehensively for their dental problems. We do a lot of general dentistry in a broad sense. We don't send everything out. Things that we have the ability to do in the office, we like to keep in the office and under one roof and keep things as complication-free as possible. You can come to one place and have all their dental needs taken care of.
Welcome back, and thanks for joining us on the NCWLIFE Evening News. In for Grant Olson, I'm Eric Grandstrom. Well, Governor Jay Inslee said yesterday the state remains committed to lifting COVID-19 restrictions June 30th, even though it may not reach its goal of vaccinating 70% of the eligible population by next week. Inslee said Washington has been mostly successful with its vaccination efforts in spite of what he said is misinformation being spread about the vaccine.
We've had considerable success relative to other states. That's a credit to Washingtonians who want to save their loved ones' lives. It's a credit to Washingtonians who have pierced through the massive misinformation that unfortunately they've been exposed to. They've been exposed to all kinds of deceptive lies about this vaccine. This is a life-saving vaccine. Hundreds of millions of people have had it. It has dramatically reduced this. 98% of the hospitalizations are people who have not been vaccinated out. It is incredibly effective. It is safe with almost no significant statistical deleterious effects. And Washingtonians have figured that out, even though they've heard lies repeated over the social media. There's no reason not to get this vaccination. Why the heck would you not get a vaccination that's going to save your life, is free, has no serious side effects, and has the added benefit of protecting everybody else that's around you that you love? Why would you not get this vaccination? Because after June 30th, people who are not vaccinated are still going to be required wearing a mask in indoor settings when they go to work. And we are seeing more people coming to that realization, geez, I can ditch this mask that kind of bugs me if I just get a vaccination. And we think that's going to be of increasing incentive. So there's reasons to believe that we will continue saving lives after June 30th.
In other news, Wenatchee has been awarded a $92.4 million federal infra grant for its Apple Capitol Loop project, which will create a traffic bypass on North Wenatchee that includes a new bridge over the Wenatchee River. It's the largest infra grant awarded in the nation this year. Wenatchee Mayor Frank Kuntz said it's exciting news for the city and for East Wenatchee, which also has projects included in the funding.
What we call the Apple Capitol Loop set of projects includes Confluence Parkway on this side of the river, and that includes an underpass at McKittrick Street, an underpass at Miller that goes underneath the rail crossings, and then a bridge that goes over the Wenatchee River and connects, in essence, to the highway on the way to Chelan. And then it's a parkway. It's scheduled to go 35 miles an hour. It's just two-way traffic. It's just a way to get out of town, not on Wenatchee Avenue. And we've all been on Wenatchee Avenue when there's been some sort of a traffic accident, and there's just no other way out. And so this provides another alternative for moving traffic on North Wenatchee Avenue. On the East Wenatchee side, there's projects that include some work out at Cascade and the Old Abashie Bridge, and then there's some pedestrian improvements to the pedestrian bridge that both connect on our side of the tracks up and over to South Wenatchee, and then on the East Wenatchee side, it will connect to their new area they just developed there to get the pedestrian traffic up and over Highway 28. So there's lots to what we call the Apple Capital League group of projects. The federal government award today for $92.5 million, pays for about 2/3 of that project between the $92 million we got today and other state funding that we've gotten previous to that. So super great day for us and for our region. And we're so thankful to Mayor Pete and our two senators and Congresswoman Schreier for their work in making this happen, and Congressman Newhouse as well. So this is an incredible, incredible day. If you think about $850 million was the budgeted amount, and we got $92 million of that. We got in excess of 10% of the funding around the country from this round of funding came to our valley. So, we're not going to start construction tomorrow. My guess is the entire suite of projects will take, somewhere between 6 and 8 years to complete from start to finish. Some will go quicker than others, but this does give us a pathway to getting these components done in a way that benefits the region. And so we're just super excited to be able to start really pushing forward.
Well, garbage collections will start earlier in the day through next week as Waste Management tries to give its workers a break from the heat wave. The change began this morning with drivers starting their routes at 5 o'clock in the morning. That will continue through at least next Friday. Waste Management is asking residents to make sure their carts are at the curb by 5 a.m. on the scheduled day of pickup. The change includes pickup in Wenatchee, East Wenatchee, Cashmere, Leavenworth, and Rock Island, and throughout Chelan and Douglas counties. Well, the city of Wenatchee held a ceremonial sledgehammering yesterday to launch the transformation of the former federal building into the new city hall and what had been the post office sorting area. Mayor Frank Kuntz and Wenatchee City Council members took turns beginning the demolition work. Professional contractors will take over on Monday.
I don't know, someone asked me today, 3 or 4 years since we started this process about thinking of buying the federal building, going through a process to remodel our old building into the Social Security Administration, and then finally get started here today, and excited for what the next year will bring. Excited to get both sets of staff working in one building. As council members, you make decisions a lot of time about something that happens next week or 2 weeks from now, and is this person get a permit to close the road? And then sometimes you make decisions that are 30, 40, and 50 years looking forward, and this is one of those, both in terms of purchasing the building and then the remodel that's going to take place. So Monday is the action day where all this stuff gets to happen. And we're just super excited to get this going. So congratulations to everybody in the room and our partners at Local Health. So hopefully it's not too bad on you, John, and on your crew as we start founding this place up. But you knew that when you sold it to us. So I think there was some extra money in that just because of that. So anyhow, super excited for all of that. So I think we'll start with, we got a wall over there, folks. So let's go ahead and get dressed. And we'll go over and we'll pound on that wall, and we've got some cupcakes and stuff like that. Ruth, look at you, huh?
These hats are funky.
Rip it up. Studs in there too, so who's gonna find it? Yeah, who's gonna find the studs? Good job, Mark. Oh, Jose's going big. I already know what's going on here, man.
There we go. All right.
Awesome. Good job. It's all yours, T.W. Clark. Let us know in a year.
Nice job with the sledgehammers. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues. Stay with us.
Make being home fun again. Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa has just what you need to bring fun back into your backyard. We have a wide selection of artesian spas and swim spas, new and used to choose from. We are happy to announce we are now selling Rainbow Kids play structures with 50 models to choose from. To help finish off your entertainment area, we have patio furniture and Komodo Joe grills. At Blue Lagoon Pool and Spa, we have just what you need to bring family fun and entertainment to your backyard. Stop by today.
According to new statistics from the FTC, Washington consumers lost nearly $69 million to fraud in 2020, more than double the amount lost in 2019. Con artists are becoming even more sophisticated in their tactics, and new scams are emerging at an increasing pace. AARP is offering a free online class, Tip-Offs to Rip-Offs. Learn how to protect yourself and your community. Sign up for the virtual class today at aarp.org/Wenatchee Tip-Offs.
Hi, this is Brian Snyder with Black Rock Asphalt Services here in Wenatchee, your local Black Rock Seal Coat company. Have you looked at your driveway or parking lot lately? Is it gray and oxidized? Does it have cracks that have not been taken care of? Or do you have striping that is pretty much non-existent? Please give us a call locally here, 509-665-9769. Learn more at blackrockasphaltsealcoating.com.
Thanks for watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. In our feature story tonight, satellites have become a vital tool in fighting wildfires in our state. Allison Morrow, the Washington Department of Natural Resources, explains the many way images from space aid firefighters.
Hi, I'm Allison Morrow with your DNR report. NOAA recently released satellite imagery of wildfire smoke moving across Arizona. This shows a 12-hour time-lapse imagery, which is valuable for many reasons.
We utilize that imagery a lot, and there's all kinds of imagery out there that we use for identifying fire risk, detecting fires early, identifying progression of fires, and then also determining where severity and intensity has occurred. We can also detect smoke, and then we can utilize that imagery to build tools to help us predict where fires might go.
One of those tools is a map that shows where a fire is located.
For DNR, a lot of times we utilize the satellite imagery to detect fire location for early fire response. And then in our large fire scenarios, we can utilize satellite imagery to help us with heat detection, finding out where the hottest places of the fire are, and then help us determine fire progressions.
The imagery has also helped the Washington Department of Natural Resources speed up responses to wildfire.
Before, we would have to utilize aircraft, and we still do, but the imagery has just gotten better over time. The time that we receive that imagery has improved, going from maybe every few minutes to what used to be maybe 24 hours, 48 hours before we would get something usable.
And that means saving lives, land, as well as money.
So having the imagery just gives us more accurate, more timely, better intelligence about what's going on the ground versus maybe waiting for somebody to have to go out there to the line and recon themselves, send up an aircraft to recon. This has just improved our intelligence capacity immensely.
To see the latest satellite imagery uploaded by NOAA, visit noaa.gov.
Dan Coons filling in for Grant Olson, who's taking his birthday off. Happy 58th birthday to Grant and his twin brother Greg, who's 57 today. Let's start out with a beautiful view of the Wenatchee Valley. We got our 4K cross camera back up and rolling again. It's still indicative of how high the Columbia River is. There is still snowmelt in the British Columbia area and high in the Cascades. The water is still cold. It's still running swift, but over the next 10 days or so, you're going to start seeing the Columbia River go slowly down and slower, if you will. But the most important part, as we continue with this unbelievable record-setting heat wave, the Columbia River is going to warm up a little bit, and that's good news. Beautiful view of the Wenatchee Valley from our aforementioned cross camera. So, the heat. First of all, 98 today, just short of the record of 101 set back in 1992. Still plenty warm for most people. And we could, and I'm not kidding you here, we could go 7 consecutive days with record high temperatures. This high pressure ridge has never been seen before this early in the year and this early in the summer. They're calling it historic, the National Weather Service is. So what's going on? I'll tell you in just a minute. First of all, there's no escaping the heat for at least another 10 days. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we're looking at on Saturday for our high temperatures. About 105 in Moses Lake, 105 in Ephrata. That's hot, everybody. It's getting into the 90s around the noon hour, and then it just cooks from there. 104 in Quincy. Wenatchee will top off at about 103. That would be a new record. Cashmere 104 up in Omak. No break for you either at 105 degrees. Grant's been talking about this high pressure ridge that's going to be centered right over the British Columbia Washington state border, and it's just going to sit there, which is why we are so unbelievably hot. It's going to be hard to even breathe by the time we get to the weekend. It's just sitting there. It's just going to sit there and spin around and not go anywhere. It's going to bring in some of that hot air from the southwest, and it just means we're going to cook. 103 on Saturday would be a new record high for Saturday if we get to 103, and I think we're going to get there as well. Even warmer on Sunday. If we get to our forecast high of 106 on Sunday, and I think we're going to make it, that would be a new record high for June 27th. We run into Monday, June 28th. The record high on June 28th for the all-time record high for that date is 104. What's our forecast high on Monday? 112, which would not only be the record high for that date, it would be the all-time record high, which was 110 degrees set back 80 years ago in July of 1941. This is historic. We have never seen this before. We've never even had to type these kind of numbers into our computer before. I'm surprised it didn't break. 113 on Tuesday. That's hot, hot, hot. And as Eric mentioned at the top of the broadcast, this excessive heat warning goes all the way through Thursday. They may very well extend it right in to the holiday weekend for the Independence Day weekend coming up next week. We are going to cool down a little bit, but it's going to be so incremental, it's almost not going to really make much of a difference. And here's the most amazing thing. Some of these overnight lows, 80, 81, 82 degrees for some of the overnight lows. That's our normal afternoon high for this time of year. There's no escaping the heat right through Thursday. And as I mentioned before, into the 4th of July weekend, we are still going to be seeing triple digits, just a little bit cooler. But not by much. It's all relative. So here you go, your 7-day forecast. It looks something like this. 98 today. Again, if we get to 103 on Saturday, that would be a new record high. 106 on Sunday would be a record high for that date. Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, we could set all-time record highs. When this is all said and done, we could go 7 or 8 days in a row with record high temperatures. That has never happened since they started keeping track of weather, and I don't know how long ago they've been doing that. It's just plain super duper hot. I hope you have air conditioning. Be careful, my friends, and stay hydrated. All right, that's your 7-day forecast. Going to take a break. Eric Granstrom has sports. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Introducing Alpine Airman. Because every home needs a superhero to eliminate poor indoor air quality, send inefficient operating equipment packing, and cut high energy bills down to size. For heating or cooling and equipment replacement, turn to the experts and the superheroes at Carrier and Alpine Air. We offer the best deals on high-efficiency Carrier products, along with friendly, knowledgeable service and incredible savings to fit your budget.
And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy Friday to you. The Mariners face a litmus test as they start a 6-game road trip against the White Sox and the Blue Jays tonight. Seattle will send Yusei Kikuchi to the mound at Guaranteed Rate Field against Chicago's Carlos Rodon. The Mariners are coming off a successful 7-2 homestand to climb to 2 games over 500. In fact, Seattle is above 500 for the first time this late in the season since 2018. Only the 16th time they've been this far above 500 in franchise history. Mariners currently have a better record than the Braves, Cardinals, Nationals, Phillies, Twins, and Angels. All were preseason playoff favorites. A further dive into the numbers shows that Seattle is the best team in baseball when it comes to one-run games. Mariners have a 17-7 record in those affairs, and had 3 walk-off wins over the defending American League champion Rays last weekend. All of this while Seattle is the most injured team in Major League Baseball. Well, there were 2 games in the American League West last night. Jed Lowry was 2 for 4 with a home run to lead Oakland over Texas 5-1. Chris Bassett improved to 8-2 by going 7 innings of 1-run ball with 4 strikeouts. Houston has won 11 straight after a 12-3 win in Detroit last night. Miles Straw went 4 for 6 at the plate and scored 3 runs, while Yordan Alvarez had a grand slam home run and drove in 5. The Astros' lead in the West is 2 games over Oakland, 8.5 over Seattle. At 39-37, the Mariners are 5.5 games back in the wild card race. Well, Wenatchee got great pitching starting from Hunter Salinas and held on for a 4-3 win over Cowlitz last night at Story Field. Apple Sox got on the board first on an RBI single by Luke Stuka in the top of the first. Meanwhile, Salinas dominated. He went 6 innings of 1-hit ball, striking out 4 to earn the victory on the mound. Sox had to hang on for dear life to win it, though, as we hear from the voice of the Apple Sox, Joel Norman.
Hunter Salinas tossed 6 scoreless innings, and the Wenatchee Apple Sox hung on for dear life in the 9th inning with a 4-3 victory over the Cowlitz Black Bears to take the series. Salinas was excellent on the mound, only allowed 3 base runners to reach, and one of them was via an error. The Apple Sox scored in the 1st inning on an infield single by Luke Stuka, added 3 runs in the 8th inning, and gave up 3 runs in the bottom of the 9th inning. But Chase Grillo came on to get a strikeout for the final out and his 3rd save. Wenatchee is off to Corvallis starting Friday night at 6:35.
Yeah, Zach Toya plated 2 runs in that 8th inning on a single, and Adam Grove drove in another. 3 insurance runs proved to be crucial as Cowlitz scored 3 in the bottom of the 9th before Grillo was able to stop the bleeding. Wenatchee travels to Corvallis tonight to take on the South Division leading Knights at 6:35. Listen for all the action here in North Central Washington with Joel Norman on Sunny FM. Other West Coast League action yesterday, Ridgefield helped Wenatchee's cause with a 13-9 win over Yakima Valley. Cole Ehrman led the way with 4 hits and 4 runs, while Caden Connor drove in 5 for the Raptors. Julian Kadama's RBI single capped a 2-run top of the 11th for Bend in an 8-6 win over Bellingham. Tanner Smith's 2-run double highlighted a 4-run 7th inning for Corvallis in the Knights' 9-2 win at Portland. Grant Taylor and 3 relievers held the Pickles to 2 runs on 3 hits with 11 strikeouts. It was the second game of the day for Portland, who started in the morning with a 2-1 win over Gresham. Patrick Muscat led the way for Portland in a 7-inning affair, hitting a home run to lead off the 2nd inning. Cascade Collegiate put its game at Walla Walla out of reach, scoring 6 runs in the 1st inning on its way to a 10-2 win. Port Angela scored 2 runs in the bottom of the 7th to force the Mercy Rule in its 11-1 win over Highline. Well, checking the West Coast League standings, Wenatchee trails Yakima Valley by a game and a half headed into the weekend in the north. Walla Walla is 2 games back. The Knights lead the South with the WCL best 11-3 record. Ridgefield is a game back, while the rest of the South pretty much out of the running for the first half standings. Now, Portland and Gresham kicked off today's schedule this morning at 9. Wenatchee's game at Corvallis gets underway at 6:35, along with Bend at Cowlitz, Redmond at Bellingham, the Northwest Honkers at Port Angeles. Portland's night game tonight against Ridgefield starts at 7:05. Walla Walla visits Yakima Valley tonight at 7:35. Let's get to Dan Coots and see what's happening Monday on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Dan?
Thanks, Eric. Most of next week, we will be talking to the organizers of the Let's Have a Blast 4th of July committee for Independence Day coming up on Sunday. The usual shenanigans that we're all used to that we couldn't do last year are back. There'll be a beer garden, there'll be a cornhole tournament, there'll be live entertainment for the Wenatchee Big Band, and of course, fireworks at Walla Walla Point Park. That'll be the topic of most of our conversations next week, plus that brutally hot weather forecast and everything you need to start your next week as we say goodbye to June and welcome July. On Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, I'll see you Monday at 7 a.m. Eric, back to you.
And glad to see you're out of the witness protection plan there, Dan. That's going to do it for our evening newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-NCWL. That's 888-6295. I'm Eric Granstrom. Thanks for joining us, and have a great weekend, and stay cool.
We would all love to have a crystal ball to tell us precisely where the local economy and real estate market is headed in 2021 and in the near future. However, what we do have here at NCW Life Channel are local experts we connect with every week to give us the inside scoop on all you need to know about your home and our local real estate market. Join me each week while we find out what's happening in the greater Wenatchee Valley. I'm your host, Crystal Hughes, and you are watching At Home with NCW Life.